Hey, Dr. Robertson, it's me, Vincent Gonzalez, and I'm an art education major, as we've discussed in our messages we've exchanged together. And I need to preface this with my voice is really raspy, and I can't control whether or not I voice crack throughout the whole video, so I'm just letting you know now. But anyways, my lesson for today is going to be about Impressionism, and it's also going to be about something called front-loading, and we're going to get into what exactly those things are right now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into character now. So, hey class, has anybody ever looked at a word or maybe a painting that they didn't fully understand, and they kind of made their own conclusions in their head? Maybe somebody can give me an example of that?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'll go ahead and give you an example. So if you look at something like this, you've all seen this before, right? So how does this make you feel?
It makes me feel very somber. This is
Very somber.
nostalgic as well.
Nostalgic. Okay. How else does it make you feel?
This is also feels very expressional.
Feels very expressional, right? Okay. So right there, that's a perfect example of front-loading. And what we're going to continue to do is to do it a little bit more formally. Now I'm going to have you guys get into groups, or rather just in the groups that you're sitting in, right? And then I'm going to show you more of these, and you're going to have 1 minute to discuss amongst your groups, and then share with the class, what you think about the image. So, little character break. So I'd show them this image here for 1 minute, right? Then after a minute passes, then I'd ask this group over here, what do you guys think of this painting over here?
This feels like it's about a family who lives in poverty.
Okay.
It feels very dim lit.
Very dim lit, okay.
And it's very dark.
It's very dark, right? It feels very kind of dirty, right?
Yes.
Okay, so same thing with this image. 1 minute passes, they're all in their groups, and they gotta tell me, how do they feel about this painting? So how about this group over here?
This one feels the very opposite. It feels happy and like cheerful, like a romantic piece.
Okay, so pretty much the exact opposite, right? Exact opposite feelings of this one right here, right? So we'd go through that as a class. Then we'd also go through this primary source here. Of course, the book isn't primary, but these letters are primary source. I don't know if you can get that camera right there. So these letters here were actually written by Vincent van Gogh himself. And some of these letters here, this is just to give you an idea of what they looked like. Some of the letters, which would be provided on the presentation that I have, right? But obviously don't have an access to a projector right now. But these letters would address this painting and this painting. And we'd quickly find out that our inferences, our front loading that we just did, our prior knowledge was actually wrong. It's actually contradictory to what the letters were written about. See, because when he writes about this one, it's very dark and dirty and very dreary and sad, right? But when he writes about it, we learn that he actually really enjoyed the process of making this painting. Versus when he's talking about this one, which is more in line with his contemporaries, he felt kind of unfulfilled, right? Because he felt like he was just kind of doing the same thing everybody else is doing, right? So then we'd move into, has anybody here heard of somebody, or not somebody, has anybody here heard of Vincent van Gogh?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course, right? Everybody's seen this painting here. Maybe you might even seen this one, right? So does anybody know anything about Vincent van Gogh?
A little bit.
Anything?
He was crazy.
He was crazy, right? Or he was crazy, right? He was mentally unstable, right? We can call it that. Good. So then we'd go in to talk about his life, his paintings, his art process, just everything about him. Or not everything, we don't have all day. Then we'd go into Impressionism, because you can't talk about Vincent van Gogh without talking about the Impressionist movement, of which he was the most popular artist by far, right? So after we talk about Impressionism, then I'd ask the class, some more checking for understanding questions like, can anybody here name me one thing about Impressionism?
It's very expressional.
Very expressional. How about another thing?
It emphasizes texture.
Emphasizes texture. How about one more thing?
There's a lot of mark.
This is an emphasis on the mark, right?
Emphasis on the
Emphasis
mark.
on the mark. It's very energetic. Okay, so I'd show them a few examples of his contemporaries at the time, like Gauguin, Seurat, Monet, and even provide my own example here, which I've done myself. Now you look at it and you may think like, there's no way the students are going to be doing something like this, right? Because this would take them like a month easily. But this is just to give them an idea of what to do, purely. Just to give them an idea of when they look at this, they can see the texture, they can feel it with their hands, they can see that there's a lot of energy to the piece, there's a lot of, we can put it like, there's an emphasis on implication rather than actually rendering it like to its maximum capacity. Because as you can see in the background here, I kind of implied that there's a castle back there, or I kind of implied that there's more land back there. I'm not exactly going out of my way to say that there's definitely a castle or there's definitely land back there, right? It's another attribute of Impressionism. So this would be an example. I'd ask them to sketch in their sketchbook, just a few ideas, right? Completely unrelated. And then we'd go from there. Then they start their final painting, maybe final drawing, whatever. Medium's open to whatever they want to do. And that would be effectively, oh no. Then we'd sprinkle in some exit tickets throughout. So some more checking for understanding, some more engagement maxing, right? And then that would be effectively it, really. That would be the entire lesson. So thank you.